Black. No. Blacker than black. So dark that midnight needs a lullaby hummed into its ear so as to ward off nightmares after witnessing such an abyss. Breath painted in smoke and mirrors, reflecting back to a decaying species from which the law can't wash this charcoal soot, black-faced dark mask of sin from our existence with the watery blood of goats and cows and makeshift incense. Is this the texture we find in the creases on the first page of God's storytelling? In the shadowy corners from which beings cast down from promise lurked, waiting for a moment of mischief to insert the fabric of suffering into creation's quilt. Guilt would become the blanket that kept Adam and his rib warm because we know the leaves were covering nothing. Pain. Eclipsing eyelids as they close one final time. Darkness closing in as death bells ring. It's time. The second Adam stretched so wide his heart nearly broke as he choked up his spirit and placed it in his father's hands before he laid down his innocent head to rest. In a land of cons and murderers, thieves and idolaters, harlots and liars and disobedient children who forgot we all have the same loving daddy, and he was watching every move like chess. He felt every heart beating for some other god in their chests as they treated this Yahweh like an uninvited guest in the very home, on the very globe he created for them. Light. Bright, no, brighter than bright, piercing through the cornea, straight up light beams, peering through the windows of our essence, bending light rays into our conscience like souls folding over themselves, gathering gold dust to play a game of darts with stars, the light of the world, supernovaed for a kind of man who knew not yet to be grateful. Electromagnetic waves shocked through the cosmos on Calvary, Christ taking lashes to the deep tissue like laser surgery, taking on our dark night of the soul, liberating like moonlight, like confessions cleansing a tired conscience, weary from betraying its design. This divine sunbeam radiated through Abraham's bosom and broke open the frequency of freedom, measured only in photons, light blinding darkness, salvation traveling at the speed of light, flying captives in to be seated in places we know only sons of God go. We, the cleansed, are purified by fire, sanitized and sterilized by flame to that metal taste in our mouth we get when we've been caught. We've been caught. Laser zeroed in on the left of our chest. Open up, let the light in, for this light is source, energy source, source code, code red, red blood, blood washed, washed new light beams shipped in a package of glory. This Christ in me, this light in me. To study Christ is to study light. So I guess this is optics. To learn his ways and write down the answers like parables, canonized as holy. I guess it's synoptic, rocking sacred text like a halo, because his word is a literal lamp to my feet. And this little light of mine can't stop glowing, because this little soul of mine can't stop knowing what he did for me. Not just on Calvary, but on that sunny morning after day 3, I'd like to think, when his father brought him back from the dead. His first moment that made him pause was not blood moving through his veins, not breath coming back into his lungs, or the women visitors who had come with sad heads hung, but that moment when stone rolled, when goosebumps strolled the cold of morning on the top of skin, hand sitting atop his own brow, shielding his sight from what was peering through the trees, piercing through the clouds, his eyes squinting at the blinding light, the first sign his night was done, the proof he'd overcome, except this little light source was not the sun, but the person of resurrection himself. He is our hope, and our salvation. Christ, our shining one, this sweet lamb, our lampstand, who rose with resurrection power in his hands. He is the word made flesh, the revelation of mystery. He is the personification of Genesis 1:3. Let there be. This brilliant burst of eternity, his very identity, a decree spoken once before, 3 days descended, then ascended for the encore.